Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Assistant Professor Chetan Devashish Ghosh. Now, today we will quickly learn how to pass journal entries in the books of vendor. So, let us take one simple example wherein we will learn how to pass the journal entries in the books of vendor. Then, we will also learn how to create a ledger account. There's two ledger account which is created for vendor in the books of vendor, that is in the books of seller. So let us see how to do that. So this is an example wherein the cost of asset is 5 lakh. The down payment that we have to make is 1 lakh, and the condition is two equal installment has to be paid plus interest at 10% per annum. Again, it's a very simple sum wherein it is talking about only two equal installment, and it is talking about an interest rate which is 10% per annum. So we can use calculator as well as we can manually calculate, but always remember use calculator in order to avoid any simple mistake, which may lead to a fatal error for our sum. चलो, okay, let us begin. अभी तक जितने भी sums हमने सीखे हैं, we learned from a buyer's point of view, but this time we are not learning from buyer's point of view. The perspective has been changed. Here we are learning from vendor's point of view, but the calculation of installment will remain the same. So let us first calculate installment and interest, and then we will see how we need to pass the journal entries in the books of vendor. I hope so you all are ready. Now the cost price of the asset is 5 lakh. So I will quickly write as 5 lakh rupees. Then the down payment which was made is 1 lakh rupees. So I have to reduce this 1 lakh rupees. So 5 lakh में से 1 lakh हम reduce कर देते हैं. What is the balance amount we will get? It is 4 lakh rupees. Okay. Now the next thing is okay. So we got the balance amount. Cost price में से हमने down payment reduce कर दिया है, minus किया है. Now the first thing that we need to calculate is the interest. Being a vendor, मैं interest charge करूंगा buyer को. Okay. So the interest has to be added first. So how to calculate interest? Interest is 10% on the outstanding amount, which is 4 lakh in our case. So 10% on 4 lakh, ये आप calculate कर लो. This is how it is calculated. This is 4 lakhs. Multiply by 10%, which will give me 40,000. So I will just write here. The interest is 40,000. Now remember, it is an interest. So interest क्या करना है हमें add करना है initially. So let me add the interest. Okay. And then I will receive installment. That is vendor will receive installment. So we have to write the installment. And since this is the first installment, so we have to write first installment. Installment में क्या होता है? Two components. The first installment will include first the fixed component and then the interest. What is the fixed component? How to get the fixed component? What is the balance amount? 4 lakh rupees. Okay. This is the balance amount. Balance is 4 lakh rupees. Now it has to be divided by number of installment. Here the number of installment is 2. So if you divide 4 lakh by 2, you will get 2 lakh. This is what it is, isn't it? So this is the fixed component. इसको हम fixed component बोलते हैं. Fixed component of the installment. It means 2 lakh rupees तो pay करने ही है buyer को, plus buyer हमें that is vendor को interest भी देगा, that which is 40,000. How do I get 40,000? It is here. Okay, so in total it would be 2,40,000. So this is the amount क्योंकि ये installment है जो pay होता है, so it has to be deducted. Many of the student makes a mistake. 4 lakh से डायरेक्ट 2 lakh 40 उन लोग डिडक्ट कर देते हैं. They don't add 40,000. So I'm highlighting this 4 lakh में plus 40,000 add होगा. And then we have to deduct this 2 lakh 40,000. So now we will get a balance. Use the calculator and get the balance, which would be 2 lakh. Let me just show you with the help of the calculator. Calculator में कुछ आपको ऐसा करना है. 4 lakh plus 40,000 minus 2 lakh 40,000. So what is the amount? 2 lakh. So that is how it is. Now, is it done? No, because हमें interest वापस से calculate करना होगा. Okay. And it would be 10 lakh, sorry, 10% on the outstanding amount. Now the outstanding amount is how much? 2 lakh rupees. Look at the outstanding amount. That is the balance amount. Okay. So it would be how much? 20,000. Okay. So, okay. Now the next is installment. Now this is the second installment that we need to pay. Vendor will pay and sorry, the buyer will pay and the vendor will receive. Now this is second installment, not the first. Okay. The second installment है. And what is the amount? Fixed component to pay करना है. Fixed component हमने यहाँ से calculate किया, which is 2 lakh plus interest, which is 20,000, which will make it 2 lakh 20,000. So, okay. So what is the balance amount? Just calculate the balance. You will see the balance is nil. That is 0. Okay. So this is what you need to take care of. कि अगर हो गया है, see nil. What do you need to take care of? The first thing, check the number of installment required. 2 installment हो गया, then the balance has to 0 because the question says that it would be 2 equal installments. And you have to always remember the installment will include fixed component plus the interest. Interest would be always charged at certain percentage. Exam में कुछ भी percentage, question में कुछ भी percentage हो सकता है. It can be 8, 5, 10, 15, but it would be always on the outstanding amount. Okay. And the moment you write here, just trying to make a difference कि मैंने balance दिया है. I can get a good highlighter here. Let me just bold it. So this is the balance and you have to always make sure that you're calculating properly so that if you get a wrong balance amount, just think it will have the effect and this effect would be as such कि एक initial balance amount आपने गलत कर दिया तो interest गलत calculate होगा installment गलत हो जाएगा and this is what I have observed in most of the cases. Please make sure that you take some time in order to calculate correctly. Okay, so we are done with the calculation of installment. But remember here, this video is dealing with understanding how the journal entries and the ledger would be passed in the books of vendor. Now we need to understand who is the vendor. Okay, a vendor is a person who sells the goods. अब वो goods जब भी बेचेगा, okay, उसका concern क्या होगा? उसका concern होगा कि भाई किसको goods दिया है? बायर को ऑन हायर परचेज बेसिस, मतलब क्रेडिट लिया है तो ही विल रिकॉर्ड द क्रेडिट एंट्री ऑफ सेलिंग द प्रोडक्ट, दैट इज सेलिंग द गुड्स. ओके, नेक्स्ट उसका कंसर्न होगा कि भाई डाउन पेमेंट रिसीव हुआ है, देन ही वुड बी कंसर्न अबाउट रिकॉर्डिंग द डाउन पेमेंट. देन इंटरेस्ट दैट ही चार्जेस टू द buyer, he has to record the interest and then the installment that he receives. Remember, interest is a nominal account which has to be transferred at the to the profit and loss account at the end of the year. So only five entries that we need to remember in case of vendor. Vendor में five ही entries होते हैं, okay, and that too in the initial year, and then it is reduced to three entries. So on the first year, we will write the entry as such. That is cost price, that is a cash price 5 lakh है, which is sold at credit. So हमने goods दिया है, किसे दिया है? वेंडर कहेगा goods मैंने seller को दिया है, और सॉरी goods मैंने buyer को दिया, मींस buyer is the person who has purchased the product. उसका नाम भी हो सकता है या फिर नहीं भी. Okay, so you will write like this. बदले में हमें कैश आया? No. So he is the receiver, buyer. So buyer's account debit, okay, to buyer's account debit to, हमारा एसेट नहीं गया वेंडर का, गुड्स गया है. ओके, और गुड्स जब भी जाता है इट इज कंसिडर्ड एज सेल्स, और गुड्स कभी भी आता है बिजनेस में इट इज कंसिडर्ड एज परचेज, क्योंकि जब भी हम कोई गुड्स परचेज करते हैं, ओके, इट कम्स इन द बिजनेस, सो इट इज नोन एज परचेज अकाउंट. और जब भी हमारे बिजनेस से गुड्स जाता है उसको हम गुड्स गोज आउट बोलते हैं, दैट इज इट इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ सेल्स, सेल्स होता है. So this is what we write: buyer is the receiver of the goods, and it is the sales for me. Now you may think कि cost of asset लिखा हुआ है. Why I'm saying goods? See, vendor के लिए वो asset नहीं है, वो अपने business के लिए use नहीं करता, वो सिर्फ उसे sales के लिए use करता है. Okay, so this is fundamental things that you have to remember कि बायर के लिए एसेट हो सकता है जो अपने बिजनेस के लिए यूज करेगा, फॉर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए यूज कर सकता है वो पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट को, गुड्स को, उसीलिए वो गुड्स उसके लिए बायर के लिए एसेट बन जाता है. लेकिन सेलर सेल्स द गुड्स, तो उसके लिए जस्ट अ नॉर्मल प्रोडक्ट है, इसे वो सेल्स करता है कंटिन्यूसली इन ऑर्डर टू अर्न सर्टेन प्रॉफिट. तो बायर्स अकाउंट डेबिट टू सेल्स अकाउंट. नाउ वी हैव टू राइट बायर डेबिट में कौन सा अमाउंट होगा? 5 लाख. सेम अमाउंट डेबिट साइड में, और क्रेडिट साइड में. ओके, तो 5 lakh rupees at the debit side and 5 lakh at the credit side. So debit और credit में हमने ये लिखा. Now the entry would be been goods sold on credit. When goods sold on credit on higher purchase basis. Okay, this is what we need to write. Let me just make it big. Okay. Now ये फर्स्ट ईयर में हमने ये लिख दिया, first entry in the first year, that is the sales of goods on higher purchase basis. The next entry would be the down payment. Down payment में vendor कहेगा कि उसके पास cash आया है. So cash or bank account, cash or bank account debit to debit the receiver, credit the giver. Who has given me this amount? Buyer's account. Okay. Cash or bank account debit to buyer's account. And what is the amount? And the journal entry would be the journal entry. Been received down payment. Been received down payment. Okay. Now this is the entry for down payment. The next entry on the first year में एक और entry होगा, that is interest charge. Being a vendor, I have charged interest to the buyer. So I will not say I have received the interest, but interest is my income. And this interest is with whom? It is with the buyer. So entry would be like this. Buyer's account debit to buyer's account debit to interest account. Why interest is at the credit side? The interest is at the credit side with a very basic reason, because interest is an income for me, that is vendor. Vendor के लिए ये income है, उसके लिए interest जो है as per nominal account का rule, interest will come at the credit side because credit the income or gain. Okay, and this interest is still with buyer. Buyer ने अभी तक दिया नहीं है. This is just an entry for recording the interest charged. So being interest charged at 10% per annum. Okay, how much interest? It is 40,000. At both the side, it would be 40,000. Okay, and the next is after this installment, the first installment record करना है मुझे. First installment being a vendor मैं कहूँगा कि पैसा आया है, so I will write this कि पैसा आया है. Okay, so cash or bank account debit to buyer's account, and the amount would be how much? 2,40,000. I would be recording this at both the sides. Yeah, and being first installment received. Being first installment received. Okay, the first entry on the first year was recording the transaction at higher purchase basis, that is credit transaction. Second entry was related to down payment. Third entry, interest charged. Fourth entry, received first installment, and the last entry would be transferring this interest to interest account debit to interest account debit. हम किसमें करेंगे? Profit and loss account. Okay, this is our transfer entry. We'll just write the narration as being interest transferred, being interest transferred to profit and loss account. And what is the amount here? The same 40,000. This is what and how we have to record. So यही 5 entries every time we have to record. Maybe the installment is for 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years. यही 5 entries होते हैं. Yes, the amount would differ because cost price of the asset, that is goods, would be different. The down payment would be different, and the interest amount, because of the interest percentage, it would be different. ये first year की entry हुई. And in the second year, we have to remember, see, the goods will not resold to the same buyer again on the second year. Neither the buyer will give us any down payment in the second year. It means we have to only pass the three basic entries for the second year, for the third year, for the fifth year, fourth year, fifth year, जितने भी years का question हो. What we have to record, the first, the interest charge, that is buyer's account debit to interest account. Look here, now here it is 20,000. So we have to record transaction as 20,000 क्योंकि यही interest amount है. So the interest amount would be different. Now, the installment amount, the second installment जब भी receive हुआ, we will say we received second installment, no doubt. But यहाँ cash या bank account debit to buyer's account means same entry, but the amount would differ. And the last entry would be transferring this interest amount to profit and loss account. So interest account debit to profit and loss account, it's a transfer entry, and that is what it is, done. अगर ये 3 years होते तो यही 3 entries would repeat it on the third year, would have been repeated on the third year, and the amount would have been different. But here in our case, we have kept a very simple sum. Okay, लेकिन third year, fourth year, fifth year, n number of years के लिए accordingly होता. And then we have to at the end, you need to make sure that you take the total. If you don't wish to lose out a single marks, make sure that you also total all the amount of the debit and the credit side and write it at the bottom, which would be similar. Okay, and that is how you need to pass the journal entries in the books of vendor. Now, in my next video, I will be giving you just an idea how to prepare buyer's account in the books of vendor and interest account in the books of vendor, continuing with the same example that we have. Thank you for now.